And welcome to the season preview. Not long to go until we kick off at Old Trafford. So I'm joined by Charlie, Tom and Gonzo as we answer a few questions such as, will Slaven Bilic get a new deal? Where do we think we'll finish? Who our Hammer year prediction is? And what youngsters should we be looking out for at West Ham next season? We want you guys to join in and give us your answers to the questions at the end of the video. So get your comments in below. But before we do that, there's a new game out this weekend that we're all going to be participating in. And we want you guys to participate in as well. So here's a lot more about that. And then we'll get straight into our predictions. Here is Super Brew, which is what we're going to be playing next season. As you can see, we're on the website just now, but they also have a mobile phone app on iOS and Android. There's loads of different prediction games you can join in. They've got heaps of different sports here. As you can see, they've got golf, baseball, rugby, football, and we're going to be sticking with the Premier League. Lots of different leagues as well, just in the football alone. We've also created a little Hammers Chat League, so if you do join up, make sure you join the Hammers Chat pool. All the information and links will be in the description underneath the video. Pop along and see if you can beat myself, maybe beat Charlie, etc. and see how well you do. It is completely free to join up, and there's no cost at all in this. You can't play for cash, but that's just a completely different thing. I'm playing the free game because I'm Scottish. I'm going to bang in my predictions now, and then I'll show you them at the end. You can let me know if you agree or disagree with what I think is going to happen this weekend in the Premier League. There is also lots of prizes up for grabs on this one, so you can win a Premier League shirt of your choice. Obviously, you'd pick the West Ham one, I hope. There's money up for grabs as well. If you somehow manage to predict all 10 scores correct, you get 20 grand basically, so it's not too bad. Get involved. Anyway, that's my 10 predictions done there. As you can see, I've gone for Arsenal to beat Leicester, Watford and Liverpool to draw, Chelsea to beat Burnley, Palace to beat Huddersfield, Everton to beat Stoke, Southampton and Swansea to be a high scoring game, I think. I've also gone for a Tony Pulis Bowden 0-0 at home, Brighton to get beat by Man City. I think they're going to go on and win the league, to be honest. Newcastle get beat by Tottenham while they haven't done any signings. They have a settled team, which is important, I think. Then I'm going for West Ham to get a point at Old Trafford. But once you've done your predictions, make sure you do join the Hammers Chat League. But on the site, as you can see, there's news from Super Brew as well, lots of tournaments, lots of different fixtures and stuff, so you can get involved without having to pay a penny. And at the end here, as I'm just showing you, we've got all the prizes up for grabs, from a football shirt all the way up to 20 grand prize. But anyway, like I said, below in the description is the links you need to join up, come along and play, and see if you can beat me at your prediction league this weekend.
My Hammer of the Year for next season will be Javier Chicharito Hernandez. I don't think there's going to be anybody that can run him close.
We have such a low bar for strikers that no matter what he does, it'll be considered amazing and fantastic.
The buzz about the place at the minute, with the sort of calibre of player that he is and the likeness to potentially what he can bring for us, like Payet did in his first season at West Ham, Hernandez has really got me excited for what we can achieve at West Ham next season.
But he has all the properties we need to get a bag load of goals out of him. The positioning, he has the movement, he has the finishing ability.
I think if he can bag us the 15 to 20 goals that we needed, I don't see anybody running him close.
And given the fact that we haven't had that for a long time at West Ham, that will probably mean he will get Hammer of the Year.
I'm going to work on the proviso that Lanzini stays with us. If he does, he's going to be Hammer of the Year by a country mile.
I think he was unlucky not to win it last year. I think he would have if there was another month to go of the season. Everything's going to go through him this season.
It's going to be a breakthrough season for Mr. Lanzini.
I'd be very surprised if Lanzini's not our Hammer of the Year.
Aim has to be top 10. We just have to consistently be getting top 10 finishes now. We're a big enough club in order to do it, and in order to progress and get the better players and to continue to move forward into the future of West Ham, which we all hope is bright, it has to be a top 10 finish.
It's got to be cups, really. It's what I say at the start of every season. I just want to see us take the cup seriously.
We've got a big enough squad to push in both cup competitions this year and the Premier League, and it might be a chance to give some of our special youngsters a go.
Given Slav's only got 1 year of his contract left to go, I can't see that happening.
I think also pushing for top 8 isn't out of the question. Like I said, with the size of squad that we've got, it has to be a main target of Slaven Bilic's. If the board want to push us to that next level, especially after the signings that they've made and the backing that they've given to Bilic, those have to be both realistic targets next year.
I'm going to say 9th. While I think we've improved, so has every other team. I think the top 6 and now Everton are sort of in their own little world with the money. We don't have the money to get into that little world, so that leaves just 2 or 3 spaces up for grabs in that top half. And I'd like to think we're going to take one of them.
I think this season we're going to finish 8th.
We've done the perfect thing in rebuilding our squad and buying for players that actually will improve our overall 11. We can be pushing Leicester and Everton for that 7th, 8th or even 9th spot. And I think anything below that would be considered a subpar season. Unless it completely flew off the rails and there was injuries and the like included. Being in the second season at the London Stadium, there's no Payet to deal with. The board have backed the manager and he's got the signings that he wanted, and we're potentially not even done in the transfer market yet. There are no excuses for Slaven not to get it done next year.
I don't think we quite have enough to get over the hurdles of Everton and the rest of the top 6, but 8th for me would be incredible and I'd be very happy.
Predicted league finish 10th. I'll go with 10th. I don't care. I just want a cup run.
The youngster I'm really excited about seeing next season is Declan Rice. There is really something about this kid that Slaven Bilic likes, and I think that's why we haven't seen him go out on loan just yet. He commands his box for such a young age, and he's really vocal in amongst that back line and can play even in the centre defensive midfield as well. He's a versatile player, he's fast, he's quick, he just gets the game, and I've not seen someone like that for years at West Ham. Although I think as well Nathan Holland probably runs him close. I was really excited by what I've seen of him in pre-season, but Declan Rice for me just is the standout performer.
I think with Oxford's out, Burke out of the picture, and with Ginge in the final year of his contract, I think there's a possibility that he could see at least 10, 15 first team appearances this season. So I'm going with Declan Rice.
Last season I said Josh Cullen. I think I was right to say Josh Cullen, although he was out on loan. And while that would be my easy choice for this one, I'm going to switch to another loan player, and that's Reece Oxford.
I'm incredibly happy that he's gone out on loan, not only to a big club, but to a big club abroad. He's going to be tutored well. He's going to be given a new culture and something different.
He's going to get minutes. And if you look at Christensen at Chelsea, he did just that. He got loads of minutes out there. And I think if Reece gets that this season, I think he could come back worth over 20 million, really, because he'll be a young player with loads of experience under his belt and potentially a top young centre-back.
One to watch for me is probably Sam Byram. He's got Pablo Zabaleta ahead of him, which makes it difficult for him. But that means that when he is playing, all eyes are going to be on him. Everyone's going to be concentrating on him to see if he can take over from Zabaleta when he leaves. If we get rid of Feghouli and we don't bring someone else in, he might be playing right wing as well, something he did at Leeds. And so he's going to get chances, and they're going to be really, really important for him, for his future at West Ham and for his future football career. So one to watch for me is Sam Byram.
Player to watch is definitely going to be Arthur Masuaku. For a while, Cresswell was seen to be the main guy, a bit of a shoo-in. He was even rumoured to be joining Liverpool, having come from Merseyside himself. But I think Masuaku is going to make that left-hand side his own this season. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if he finds himself playing in some other positions. I think there's a lot more to come for that guy. There's a lot of potential with him.
It's between the two A's for me, Ayew or Arnautovic. I think one, which Arnautovic will play more, but I think Ayew's underrated by our fans. But I'll go with Arnautovic. He's a match winner. He can get the ball, make things happen, excite fans. And while we've got Hernandez up front who's going to score the goals, we need someone to set them up, and that's why I've gone with Lanzini for Ham of the Year, and that's why I'm going for Arnautovic for the player to watch. And I think the fans are going to love this guy.
My player to watch next year would be Edmilson Fernandez. The boy has talent, he has skills, he has pace, his control, his everything. We saw only a few glimpses of him last year and actually what he could do. But for the money that we paid for him, he looks a real coup. I think maybe with the departures of Feghouli, Snodgrass, maybe even one more player, I think it's the perfect time for Eddie to step up and push that place for the next level. I definitely think he has the ability and know-all to make it happen. And I think that Said Haksabanovic, the new signing, could potentially push him close. But for me, if there's only one player that can potentially be the surprise package next year, and for me, that is definitely Edmilson Fernandez.
Slaven Bilic, will he get a no deal? No, I don't think he will. I'm not entirely convinced he will see out the full season this time, although our owners don't have a great history of sacking people in the middle of their contracts, but I really can't see him getting a new deal at all. I think this will be the last season that Slav is manager at West Ham.
I'm torn on this one because I do think we're going to finish maybe 10, and that should be enough for any West Ham manager to get a contract extension. West Ham finishing 7th, 11th and 10th in 3 years is fantastic from Bilic, more than we could ask for. But I've just got a feeling he's not very well liked by one or two people in the boardroom, and that's what worries me a little bit. He needs a fast start, otherwise he's going to be under serious pressure from the word go. I'm going to say yes, he gets one, and I think it'll just be a short one, maybe 2 years again. but I'm hoping he gets one as well. I really do.
For me, Slaven Bilic will get a new deal at the end of the season. I know a few weeks ago I might have contradicted myself in a video and said that he didn't deserve one at the time, but I think now we've actually seen the signings that we've made, the likes of Hernandez, Arnautovic, there really is no excuse for Slav not to get it right next season. He had the Payet situation to deal with last year, and the move of stadium is always going to be difficult. But now that's all out of the window, and he's had the backing from the board. There are no excuses for him not to get it done next year. The only issue I have surrounding Slaven at times was his substitutions and his tactics. I think there's no question about him being a man motivator and players wanting to play for him. But if he can help himself this year and try to stomp out some of the issues that were surrounding him as a manager last season, and actually maybe sometimes just go back to basics and not try to be too hands-on with everything, I think he could really help himself this year. And it probably would put a lot of doubters to rest and ease a lot of people's minds on what he can actually achieve as a manager. I think if he can cement that top half finish of 7th or 8th and the FA Cup run, I see no reason why the board will not offer him another 3, 4, maybe even 5-year deal to stay at the club.
I believe that Bilic will get a new contract. Despite the poor form and the terribleness of the majority of last season, we still got an 11th place finish. He still dragged us to that position. He still managed to get us to that position despite everything being against him. And then that first season was so incredible. And again, you could say, oh, he had an amazing player in Payet who was constantly on form. But again, he drove that. He got to that position. There were all these rumours about Mancini coming in, but ultimately we decided not to go for that. Whether it be because of the board being stingy and not wanting to pay out the rest of his contracts or not, we didn't go for him. There's a reason for that. Bilic knows the club. He's from the club. He has a great relationship with the fans. And there is something there which suggests that he's good enough to manage West Ham and to drag us to incredible, incredible feats. And this season, I believe, will be the make for him. This season will be where he culminates and brings all that together in something good and glorious. And we will all look back on it and go, that was a fantastic season, and Bilic will get a new contract.
And there you have it. Lanzini Hernandez for Hammer of the Year. Should we be looking out for Reece Oxford or Declan Rice? And what player do you guys at home think we should be looking out for as well? That won't be the Hammer of the Year prediction. Is it a new signing? Is it someone trying to break into the first team? Or is it a last chance saloon for someone such as Diafra Sakho? Now, this is where you guys get involved. Drop your comments below. Give us your answers. Make sure you subscribe. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the forum at hammerschat.com, and we'll be back on Sunday with our review of our season opener against Manchester United.